What's going on, everybody? Josh Pocock here, and in today's video we are not going to be looking at Cursor, the AI editor IDE. I've done many videos on this and this is a great tool, but we're actually going to be looking at a free open source alternative IDE. No, it's not ZAI. This is a new one that we're going to go over, show you how you can get started with it and actually test it out and see how it performs. This one's called Pear AI. Let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so if you haven't heard of, first of all, if you haven't heard of Cursor, check out some of my other videos. I've done many videos on it. It's currently basically the best IDE for AI editing, just in terms of, at least if you disagree, at least in terms of popularity, it is the most popular right now. But I believe it's the most efficient and the easiest dev experience currently. Now, when you actually think of the reason that, which kind of caused me to find Pear AI, which not too many people I've seen are talking about, is because if you really think of Cursor, and many people have talked about this, you know, I personally don't have like a strong opinion here nor there, at least right now, around this topic, but we're going to look quickly at this blog post and I'll leave a link in the description down below. This is a really good one. Basically the unintended consequences of open sourcing software. Basically, OSS, open source software, has consequences. So you see open source project, OSS runs best on platform, user locked in, monetization, VC investment. And here's just a little diagram of showing 90%, 99% of Cursor is literally just VS Code, which, if you don't know, is an open source tool made by Microsoft, and only one tiny percent is actually Cursor's code, right? So they're closed source, and their current business model, there really would be no reason for them to open source it for them per se, just in terms of like monetization. And you know, they just got a bunch of funding too from investors. So basically, if they were to open source, they would open up a lot of room for more competitors, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's something that's, if they're only doing 1% of the code, obviously 99% of VS Code is a lot of code, but that still is obviously something that could be imitated fairly simple, right? So that's kind of what Pear is doing. Now, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but it is a good blog post, so I will skim over some of it. Open source is pretty great. It's giving us the most important tools we use every day: Linux, VS Code, React, and more. But there's a tricky situation that keeps coming up. What happens when someone takes open source code and adds a few features, closes it off, and starts charging for it? There is nothing illegal about this at all, and it happens all the time, but does it make it right? And if it keeps happening, will there be more open source projects adopting more prohibitive licenses, like we've seen in some of the major projects recently? If so, this will harm the open source community and innovation, because of a subset of people exploited projects for profits, but just because they could. The Cursor situation. So let's talk about Cursor. They took VS Code, MIT license, and added some AI features and now charge $20 a month for it. They now have full control over the software and their users. If they want to make it so they can't use other AI tools like GitHub Copilot, probably the main thing that is creating monetary potential for VS Code, there's nothing stopping them. Don't get me wrong, Cursor's AI capabilities are great. It goes beyond GitHub Copilots, completing tasks end to end in one go. I use it, I love it, but I'll admit that doesn't make me feel any less dirty about using it. Why pay Cursor $20 a month? I'm paying for 99% VS Code and some AI add-ons. And all that money goes to Cursor, not to the team who wrote the code that I'm using. Is this right? I honestly don't know. So he's kind of just talking about the morality of like whatever, using the code. So yeah, you can check out this article. This video isn't on this topic, but he goes through the ethical considerations and this and that. But long story short, I'm just kind of talking about it just for the point of the fact that, you know, it's fairly simple to replicate. I'm not saying it's very simple, but in terms of like, it's not like they've programmed the whole entire IDE, right? So anyways, here is Pear. It's pretty much the same thing, but it's not, I would say as of now, it's not as good as Cursor. Cursor obviously just got, like, I believe, what was it, over 10 mil, I think, or something pretty large amount of funding, I think last month, something like this. I could be wrong. I know they just got secured a good round of funding. But anyways, here's Pear AI. I'll leave a link to the GitHub here. The open source AI powered code editor, a fork of VS Code, and continue. Okay, so I actually did recognize the continue devs. Supercharger development, blah, 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 prerequisites. So you want your API keys, of course. So features, you know, we're going to go over all this. There is a master document right here. It gives like all the different helper links and Pear contributing 101. So the founder is Nang and Pan. So I'll leave a link to this video right here. Frying Pan, he is the founder of Pear AI and he's building it. And yeah, he's so far from what I've seen, he's doing a good job. And long story short, there like says here, I think their short-term goal is to beat the ops, GitHub Copilot, JetBrains, Cursor, etc., and then long-term empower individuals to code, basically. So pretty cool project. But anyways, without ado, enough talking, let's dive right into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to come here, download it. You're going to want to make an account too. So if we go to pricing, all right, so there is the free version, and this pretty much allows you to do everything. You're just going to need to use your own API keys. But it also, the cool thing is it does allow local models, and the cool thing too is it is also open source code. So Cursor, yes, there's a free version, it's closed source, but also Cursor doesn't allow you to like, if I go here to my Cursor, I go to models, out of box, it won't allow you to add local models. I believe like there's certain ways you can kind of work around it, I believe, but it's a little bit more challenging, and it's not open source. So anyways, there's that. And Pear AI, they do have a $15 plan and a $10 a month. Okay, so this is the monthly plan, this is the yearly plan, and then discount bonus. I'm not even, I mean, if you want to check out the paid plans, I personally, if I'm gonna pay probably 15 bucks, I'd rather just play Cursor, because at the moment it definitely is better, in my opinion, in terms of actually coding. But not that being said, I mean, these guys are newer, so, and I do like the model that they're going about it in terms of being open source. Open source is great, right? You can download it right here. Okay, and if we open it up, it looks exactly like VS Code and Cursor, because that's exactly what it is, a VS Code fork. Here it is. You can literally do everything that you could do with VS Code or Cursor in terms of extension, customization, all that good stuff. To toggle the chat, you just click on this up here, right here actually, and then we can just scroll this over and you'll see it looks exactly like Continue Dev, because it's exactly what it is. It's literally a fork of Continue Dev. So I do really like Continue Dev. I've done many videos on it. I would definitely recommend checking them out. Let's just see here. Now the thing is this, guys, the reason why it's actually better to have an IDE that is literally like based around code is because you can do a lot more. Having it just an extension in VS Code, it's actually restrictive. VS Code restricts certain things and functionality that you can do in the IDE, opposed to actually having an IDE that's AI powered. Okay, what I mean, for example, is like, okay, if I'm in Cursor, there's no extension that can have this little UI element right here in the actual IDE, in the actual text coder, right, where we're typing things out. So there's certain things that are, like I said, restrictive when you're not using an IDE that's powered by AI. So I think moving forward, you know, most likely VS Code eventually will probably start doing some stuff like this, I would assume. As of now though, yeah, this is the direction we're headed, I believe. Extensions are okay, but yeah, it's not going to compete with, you know, the AI powered ones. Yeah, you can pretty much do everything in here like you would be able to with Continue Dev, and there is some limitations compared to Cursor, right? So like I said, this Pear AI isn't as good as Cursor in my opinion, because, or really just isn't right now, because there's a few lacking features that I really like. So let's go ahead and just make a file here. Okay, so if we click Control I, this is going to come up right here. So this is actually kind of cool. It's a little bit different than some of the other like UIs for using the AI. We can see history, so select previous prompts. I do like that because it's always good to see previous stuff. Context provider. Okay, so we can select our code base, git diff, terminal, problems. So I do like how it has this. This is very good that you can select problems, terminal, git diff, code base. Okay, so I'm going to say, write me a basic HTML, JS, CSS website for my AI company. Let's do submit. Okay, so it's going to start writing this HTML. So all's good so far. Okay, we're going to accept that. So the accept is up here. I don't like the UI as much for the accept and reject as with Cursor. Cursor, it's like green and red, so I like that better. Okay, and Control L opens up the chat interface on the right hand side. So if you're highlighting it, it will pull it over here, and you could like ask for context or whatnot. Saying code me a basic AI website for my AI company using HTML, JS, and CSS. And we're just going to run this. Okay, so we got our index HTML, we got our style CSS, and we got our main JS. And just like cursor, you could do this right here, insert at cursor. You could do copy, or you could just do apply to current file, right? So this is good. Now, as of now, unless I'm wrong from what I've seen, there is no file creation, which is, for me, I really like that. I really like that about Cursor. I like that even about Claude Dev, right? So that's an issue with Pear, is you would basically, unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. If I am, let me know. No problem. Let me know in the comments. But we would have to go to styles. We would have to go like this, insert at cursor, HTML. Let's go here, delete this, and let's do insert at cursor. And then let's create our other file, main JS. Okay, insert at cursor. Okay, so here is the site it generated. Of course, this is based really around the model, so I can't really judge Pear on this. Obviously, not the best looking, but we could improve it, of course. We could use V0, we could use whatever. But yeah, so it did work. Okay, what I want to also go over with Pear, which kind of makes it in some ways better than Cursor. Right, so in the config.json, and to access this, you just click on configure Pear right here on the right. This is where you can kind of customize and add specific models, and I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Because if we click on here, we'll see our different models. You can see I got GPT-4o, GPT-4o-mini, Turbo, 3.5 Turbo, o1-preview, and o1-mini. So as of now, there isn't an option in Pear to add some like that, those models. And there's a few others that I don't believe, right, we'll see right off the box, I'll show you in a second, that I don't know if you can add. So you may have to come in here and change a few things around. So if you do want to add o1-mini and o1-preview, you can just copy this and then paste it down here, and then change the model name to o1-preview, o1-mini, and then same thing with title, and then put your API key here. I removed my API keys, of course, but you can see that's how you would do it. Also, too, if we come over here, you'll see that Pear AI has their own model, and same thing with these ones, but that's through the paid version. And then if you click on add model, you'll see this looks very reminiscent of continue dev. This is pretty much like I said, it's a clone. So we have Pear AI server, which they say is recommended. That's, you know, if you want to pay, use your other API keys. So we got OpenAI, we got Anthropic, we got Azure, we got Mistral, we got Ollama, we got Cohere, we got Grok, we got DeepSeek, we got Together AI, we got Google Gemini, LM Studio, Llama File, Replicate, you name it. I mean, you know, do I need to continue? I don't think so. You guys can see here pretty much everything that continue.dev has, right? So you could click on one, enter your API key, select the model, right? So like I said, there is no default one right here for o1 Turbo or o1-preview or o1-mini yet, so you're gonna have to add that yourself. All right, and yeah, I did do a video yesterday talking about how even if you don't qualify right now for like the limits through tier 5, you can use tools like OpenRouter, and there's different ones too, but check that out if you want to know how to use that. Also, too, guys, I will mention OpenAI did tweet this out right here. This is on Twitter, so if you're not following me on Twitter, check that out down below. But we appreciate your excitement for OpenAI o1, and we want you to be able to use it more. For Plus and Team users, we have increased the rate limits for o1-mini by 7 times, from 50 messages per week to 50 messages per day, which is definitely good. And then o1-preview is more expensive to serve, so we increased the rate limits from 30 messages per week to 50 per messages per week. So that's definitely a lot better. Still not the best, and obviously we want to see them change those limits within the actual API for us devs. But you know, at least stuff's happening, right? They're taking some feedback. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to go over this tool called Pear for you guys. Like I said, this is a good tool. I think this is a tool to keep your eye on. It's a good tool to, we're going to see, like, I mean, at the end of the day, Cursor, does it really have, you know, I've talked about this before, a moat around it? Like, I mean, yes, to some degree, they got obviously a lot of traction now. Everyone's talking about them. You know, they are the big players in this AI powered IDE space. They got VC funding. Cool. But at the end of the day, it's really just a fork of VS Code with 1% of their actual own code. and it's not much of a moat in terms of something that's being that could be replicated, right? You know, someone could use Cursor to replicate Cursor and whatnot, and this is kind of like an example pair. They're on the right track to do so. So, and it's still a good tool. It's definitely a good AI powered tool. I mean, it's basically continued dev. So if you're really a fan of continued dev, you could basically use this for free, open source. Check it out. Other than that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you familiar with Pear AI? What's your thoughts of it on it compared to Cursor? As well as if there's any other tools or whatever that you prefer when it comes to AI coding, whether that's Claude Dev, Aider, whatever. Also, too, let me know what your thoughts are down below in terms of the O1, you know, the new O1 models. Do you like them? Are they much better than Claude? What cool things have you been building? Let me know, guys. Other than that, hope you got some value from this video. If you're new here, we upload videos every single day on AI, automation, business growth, sales, whatever the case may be. So also, too, guys, shout out to, like I said, I'll leave a link down below to Frying Pan. I think him and his brother may be building this or something. But yeah, shout out to him for actually building this. Cool tool. Definitely will keep you guys posted if there's any more updates around it, and I'll be following it too. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for the recent 5K subscribers. We're actually about to hit 6K, so thank you for all the recent support. I'm also going to leave a video right after this. Basically, it's from the All-In podcast, the All-In Summit. Just a clip of David Sachs talking to one of the founders of Salesforce about kind of the future of AI and what OpenAI said to some of their top investors in terms of where the next steps are. And this is stuff that at least most of us already kind of know, where the future of agents and the money is going to, or the focus is around agents in the next coming months, years, etc. So check out that clip and let me know what your thoughts are around that. Take care, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Keep hustling, keep grinding, and of course, guys, accelerate your stride. Cheers.
Along the way.
Let me give the audience a little update about something we just heard at OpenAI. They just did a day where they brought in a relatively small number of investors and kind of gave us all an update on their product roadmap. And it sounds kind of similar because everyone's moving in the same direction. So there are three big takeaways. Number one was that they said that LLMs would soon be at PhD level reasoning. Right now, it's more like a smart high schooler or college student in terms of the answers. We're going to be at the next level. Shortly behind that is agents, like you're talking about. And then third and closely related is that agents will have the ability to use tools. And a tool can be a website. So if you think about it now, you've got this LLM, it's really smart. It's got, it's like a PhD. You can give it an objective. It will break that objective into a list of tasks. And those tasks can include using other pieces of software.